So clearly from what we've seen, moving from chef to regional franchisee manager.
Those are the play the game, isn't it?
Is this it?
It's night to live. It's night to live. It's night to live.
Okay, sorry, Lesejo here. Just a few things to mention before the episode starts, right? Number one, I realized that in this episode, we didn't really get much into what this whole 9 to Life thing is about. So if you missed it, if this is your first time tuning in, just go back to episode 0. There we introduce ourselves firstly, and crucially, towards the end of the episode, we speak about why we started this thing, what we're hoping to achieve, and why we feel like it's absolutely crucial for it to exist. So start there, then come back here, and then continue. Number 2, which is linked to number 1, when we designed this podcast, we wanted it to be interactive, so we get our marching orders from you guys in terms of the careers that you want to see and what exactly it is about those questions or those careers you want to know. So the questions that we should ask our guests. And then number 3, we had a few production issues on our first couple of episodes, so please bear with us, guys. In this episode, it's mostly sound and a lighting thing, but it's very audible. Don't worry, you can hear everything. It's just some background noises and sounds, phones ringing here and there. But we'll sort it out in the next coming episodes. And then lastly, in this episode, we had an incredible conversation with our guest Thabang. You'll see he's dropping nuggets, and my favorite thing about this episode is that the longer you watch, the more value you get, the more nuggets he gets, and the more he gets into it, and we get into it as well. So make sure that you watch until the end. And yeah, remember to like and subscribe and share your thoughts in the comment section. Cheers, enjoy the episode, guys.
Hi guys, welcome to 9 to Life. My name is Bonisile Kiti and I'm with my co-host Lesejo.
My name is Thabang Maila.
Yeah.
Looking forward to engaging and getting to know a lot about careers, life journeys, all the interesting things that you don't read about in books.
Yeah, so our guest today, our first guest is Matsela Thabang Maila. How are you good, sir?
Oh, well, thanks, and how are you?
Yeah, no, we are really starting with you, so there's no pressure, but in about 30 seconds to a minute, what do you do?
30 minutes, 30
No,
seconds.
30 seconds.
What do I do?
After summer.
I'm a consultant for franchisees
Okay.
in a particular brand.
Okay, so what's your title? What's on your business cards?
I'm titled as a regional franchising manager.
Okay.
And what does one study to be a franchisee? Is there a specific qualification, or is it more about your soft skills and your ability to just engage with people?
I don't think there is literally a particular course that I think business-related studies could get you in. And because franchising, it's across so many other products, so a qualification related to that particular industry would also be advantageous, but not necessarily there is a prescribed course for what I'm doing. Okay.
Lovely. And I think before we get deeper into the actual nitty-gritties and the day-to-day, we like to get to know our guests. We'd like to humanize our guests as well, so that the people watching at home know that they are looking at human beings first before they're looking at a franchising regional. See. So maybe take us through your upbringing, where you grew up, your family structure, how that was like, etc.
Look, like any typical boy from the dusty streets of Polokwane, a very small village called Bochum there. That's where I started my primary school. Long walking distance to school, had to carry a bottle of water to make soup,
yes,
so that we can eat. You don't drink that bottle of water and forget about eating that.
It's hunger only.
So got the opportunity to come to Joburg for school holidays. Had to go back. I was like, no.
Never left.
I don't have cows anymore. No. There's better life.
Yes.
No, literally, I ran away the following day when I had to go home back to Poluka. Yeah. I ran away, and I think the message was very clear that I was to be here.
Yeah. And growing up, what careers were in your face? What careers were you being ushered towards?
I think I was mainly manipulated to go towards food because of my cooking abilities.
Oh, okay.
From a very young age, and you were always encouraged. So I always had chef in my mind, and that's the career I thought, well, might as well venture in.
Interesting. So, okay, so that's like a precursor into what you ultimately ended up studying. But was it you that wanted to do it, or was it pushed to say, you're good at cooking, you must consider, something in the hospitality or chef?
If I'm to be honest with you, I think a lot of, if the more it's said to you, the more it becomes part of your reality.
Internalize.
Yeah, you internalize it and you end up believing it, you end up actually thinking that's the way for you to go.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically that's what happened to me. If I were to go back, would I do it again? Definitely not.
Definitely. Okay, what's the reason? Why? What are the shortcomings, I guess?
Look,
the hospitality, chef, food industry.
You see, we went into the food industry that time where they had those hardcore chefs.
Aha.
You understand? Where the kitchen was just a chaotic place.
Yeah.
Everybody's running there, there's screaming, there's sports, So as this little kid going to do your in-service, fresh from varsity, you get into this monster, there's a lot of old men, you're thinking, nah.
I'm not gonna test
don't want to make it.
Nah. And I think part of the things that created deviation for so many of us, I'm talking a group of people that we actually went. I think the initiation that you would actually be taken through, especially if they know that you are a varsity student, you're here for your in-service. I mean, being a chef, they would make you they'll make you do ridiculous things, bro.
Chop onions the whole day.
Yeah. You understand? So some of those things derailed you and just took you away from that.
So that experience, you seeing what other people would do to make newcomers feel unwelcome, how has that influenced how you treat newcomers, either in your space, where you work, in your team?
You see, I think we just need to learn to normalize things in whatever that we're doing. So we often have this tendency of thinking what you are doing is just out of the ordinary or out of the normal. And then we come with this fancy explanations and painting of things. This is what I actually am the pathway between a person and franchising. No, I'm just a consultant that can find you better ways onto how to franchising through our brand. That's what I do. And I mustn't just try and complicate it. So it's just about being realistic to the people that are coming in. These are the real issues that you're going to face. These are the good things that you enjoy about it. That's it. I would just be realistic about this whole thing.
Nah, facts. So we hear you talking about studying. What did you study and where, if you don't mind sharing?
Okay, so I then studied hospitality management from VAL, and then did my diploma, did my BTech with TUT. And then as I was working, I did my BTech again in business admin. And and a lot of other small courses in between with UNISA. Business management, supply chain, and all those.
And just take us through what a typical journey looks like for someone to end up where you are now. So you go to varsity, you go to high school, you go to varsity and study. How much experience do you need upfront, etc.? And then what are the levels within the business that you find? Or what's the corporate ladder looking like?
Ask me, is this how I actually mapped it out from when I initially started to being a chef?
Yeah.
I would say no. I would say this is a detour of some sort. These are some of the careers that are never explained when you go into hospitality management. And so I find the administrative part of it, and I enjoyed it. When I was uncomfortable with the kitchen, I was introduced to food costing, which directly does exactly what you do. You just adding cost to it, and that's when I went. Then from there, I took the administrative side of food, and I found myself here now having to actually consult with franchisees or people that are actually interested in going to food. So if you may say a business-related degree for 3 years, 4 years, and got experience, you are in it.
And the corporate ladder, what does it look like? What are the levels like in your, doesn't have to be in your business, but in the industry, you start as an entry level, or what? Maybe you start with one shop, you move over to a region, you move over to a province, etc. And then.
So with me specifically, with the company that I'm in right now, so I will actually map it out from when I started, where I moved from one brand to another.
Okay.
Well, started off as just a normal restaurant manager.
Okay.
And then from a normal restaurant manager, you move towards becoming an area manager. And then you become an area manager, then you become a regional franchise manager. You've got a couple of area managers that would actually report to you. Then you go up to an operations manager, you go up to an operations executive, and COO.
And then
That's the part.
Yeah, fantastic.
So looking at that journey, it may sound like step, but how long did it actually take you to move from starting out as a chef to being a regional franchise manager?
Well, let's see, 2008,
Okay.
and we are in 2022, and I'm at a regional manager. So how many steps did that? Only 2. So I'm only on my third one, and it's how many years down the line? 14 years down the line, it's still on it, and it's becoming even more difficult because remember the intake now, like it's very limited. There's hundreds of you looking at this one post.
So it gets harder to move. So it gets harder to move up because it gets more focused.
It gets more. It gets lesser and lesser.
Yes, the opportunities.
Opportunities.
As you go up. So with that, and I think that's an important element to highlight. With that element, how does then one find success to enable them? Or what are the things that they need to work on themselves so that they are able to move up in the corporate ladder in your specific industry? Do you need to know how to taste food and say, this one has some cumin spice in it? How do you then determine that you are ready for the next level?
So let's just say, so I moved from the actual cooking side to the administrative part of it. Okay, so the administrative part of it is basically running a business. If you've got skills of actually managing a business, it's a food business. That person puts capital in it. They want to make profit. They do it through food. You understand? This is, if they go this route, they'll incur a lot of wastage. If they go this route, they will chase away customers. And essentially, that's understanding the pillars of each and every business, how it works, and then you make it.
So I need you to not be humble with this question.
Okay.
What is it about you, Matsela, that made it easy for you to go from that crop of 1,000 to 500 to 200 to where you are right now? What skill sets do you have? What is it about who you are that allowed you to move up? You can brag. It's not for the
Not to brag. Let's be realistic. Moving in corporate office is an important place. It's an important place. And it's not how good English you speak or it's all about understanding your environment.
Correct.
Understand those that moved before you, what they used to actually move, who they impressed to actually move, and you take that route. I promise you, these things of thinking, because remember, especially if you're working for a big company, right?
Yeah.
The company becomes your departmental head. That's the company.
That's the company.
The department that you want to go to,
Yes.
that person becomes the company. That's the person that you're not going to impress the COO in order for you to get into the finance department.
Yes.
Really, the finance thing. So the minute you realize, okay, who are the key players here? Okay, that one. Then small talks on the elevators. Be seen. Then if you're not seen, if your name is not floating on the boardrooms that are making decisions, so where do you think you're gonna end up?
No, a lot of times people will think that their work alone will move them up the ladder, right? But it's not just your work. Yes, your work is an important, that's like a prerequisite, right? But once you are there via work, being out there, right? Introducing yourself to the right people, or sharing the space with the right people gets you up the ladder. And with that said, you sort of touched on something that I wanted us to get into as well.
Yeah.
Mentorship, coaching, that sort of thing where someone has already walked the path. How important is that in your career?
Key. Important. Key. You see, sometimes you venture into mentorships and coaching, not necessarily because you really want to,
Yes.
but because you are trying to create that attention towards yourself.
Absolutely.
You understand? And what have you got to know? Those people have walked that path. To them, they know it better, even though the dynamics have changed. But they still remain those that actually have sailed one of the stormy waters. That's why you guys have got a bit of a smooth sailing now.
Absolutely.
And then so it's key. It's important. It's important for you to actually develop as a person. There's a lot of a key drive towards a person when you feel that there is somebody that's holding you to book, and especially in the space that you're in. To think, okay, I need to actually do better because I'm being mentored by this particular person.
Yes.
And if such negativity is associated with me and it gets to that particular person, and I might be negatively affected. So it also disciplines you. So I would encourage anybody to actually go. The minute you're not mentored, you're not coached by anybody within, you're relaxed, you don't care. I'm not saying it happens to everyone, but you are most likely to do. So for me, it's also a self-growth, a self-discipline strategy that you can take to actually become a better person.
Absolutely. And accountability, as we told to say, so I'm accountable to someone other than my manager.
Other than my manager.
Doing what I'm supposed to do. I think it helps in also you understanding that as you are an individual, you're working towards the next level. Yes, you're doing your job today, but as you do your job, you do it in such a way that you are displaying, or you are showing that you are ready for the next level, so that when the opportunities come,
You are better flavored.
So touching on mentorship, I think we can all agree that mentorship is important. And for growing. So for that, for not only growing, but you going back and helping someone else. But when you reach a certain level, that is when you get a lot of requests. And how do you decide who to mentor? What do you look out for? And what value does it bring you to mentor someone?
Okay, I want to actually just talk on that one, on the mentorship. So for me, this is my own analogy. People need to understand mentorship in a sense that mentorship could be me wanting to acquire a particular skill. It could be just me wanting to understand a particular process within the company. So I had a very not a bad mentor, but I had a mentor that I felt is not anything to get actually what I do, because I think from her level she misunderstood what I actually wanted. You understand? So people need to understand, like, if you are requesting me for mentorship, what is it that you are wanting me to mentor you on? You understand? Do you want me to mentor you on the roles that I am doing? Because I can take 2 days in actually, I can just paint to you pictures of the scenarios that actually happen in what I do, and this is how you deal with them, because there's processes in every. Versus if I'm mentoring, so you say, a person comes to you say, I'm what's the word? I take time to actually make decisions.
Dog, yeah.
I overanalyze things. You understand? How do I? And my job requires me to actually be on the. And I'm afraid that I actually make the wrong decisions when I'm actually pressured. You understand? You are actually in a very fast-moving. Take a guy from logistics whose truck is stuck somewhere, and then he's got all. So that's the guy that understands how to actually switch things. Like this, you understand? Yeah. So as a person that you are wanting, and I've got a lot of requests of people wanting to be mentored. And my first conversation with you would be, what is it that you actually are trying to achieve? No, I want to be a regional franchising manager.
Okay.
But then, okay, do you want me to explain to you what the original franchising manager does and what, or how you need to go about it? No. Or do you want the soft skills of it?
Yeah.
You understand? You need to be able to negotiate. You need to be able to actually analyze the character of people. You've got 24 people that you're dealing with different characters. How do you then differentiate John from how to deal with John and how to deal with Lesego? Those that you can take a blanket approach to those. Understand? So for me, it's important to understand what you want to be mentored on. Whether it's soft skills, because like Lesego said, of it, so soft skills would take you a long way. Understanding what are those, what are your good ones, what are your bad ones, what do you want, you need to improve on, and that's what kickstart mentorship.
No.
I think that is very important when you talk about next level mentorship, because the last thing that you want is to have someone who's too far ahead of you for them to be relatable. So when we started this platform, we wanted to create a space where people can look at careers that they would like to take from people who are at a certain level. But it is also possible that for someone starting out, you might not be the best mentor, because how things were when you were a chef in 2008 might be very, very different. So what you know is being a regional manager this year or last year or whenever. So when people come to you, they are, number one, it becomes very hard for them to add value to you, and also becomes very hard for you to impart value in them. So thank you for raising that. Thank you for raising that concept.
And I think that's important, just on that mentorship thing again, because a lot of people might be deterred from the mentorship rule, thinking, I have nothing to offer this person, therefore, why would they come to me? Why would they mentor me, right? But I don't know, I want you to share your experience. And sometimes mentors don't necessarily need something from you right away, right? Or they don't need anything from you at all. For them, it's about them adding value to, or going back and assisting someone, because in their journey also someone assisted them, right? So yeah, on your journey, did you find that before you were approaching the people that you want to mentor, coach, or role model, you were thinking, what do I have to offer this person first? Or you were just able to just have a conversation with them and have them help you out?
Are you talking in terms of me asking for people to mentor me?
Yes. How did you go about it?
Look, it's sort of, it becomes a process of I don't know, maybe I appear a bit needy to that particular person. For them to actually recognize that there is a need for them to actually impart something to you. Because in all honesty, what do I have to offer to this person that is in this high position? You understand? Other than me harnessing whatever that they would have actually gained throughout the years. So you come with the approach of, look, I'm an empty vessel that is desperately looking to be filled. And I've identified you as a person that has got the right content that I need for my vessel. So therefore, I'm humbly requesting for you to actually do it. And it'll take you a while before you actually understand a mentorship, and actually mentorship that would actually get to add value. You'll get it wrong at some point, of course, because at some point you like the one I mentioned,
there's a mismatch.
We were traveling in the same direction but in different platforms. And I couldn't get this person, and I would drag. We would have one session in 2 months. You understand? And the closer it gets to that, for a week, I'm cracking my head and I'm like, okay, I need to actually show this person that there is actually attraction in what we're doing. But I've got got nothing. I've got nothing. Over the last 3 sessions that we had, I don't have anything to offer this person. And then you end up, look, can we move our session to sometime next week because I'm caught up in between meetings and on. And then they right there, they reschedule, they put you in your calendar for next week. It's coming next week.
It's coming.
No, it's like, so what you're saying, what I always believed is that the importance of next level mentoring is that you actually get the skills that you need instead of, what is it called? For example, if I'm running a border business, right? There's very little that Bill Gates can do for me because I don't need the drive that he had back then. I need to learn how to do bookkeeping, for example. You know, I need to learn food costing. So most people make the mistake of going too high when that person is now playing at a very different level that it can't help you because what you need at that point is very different to what he needs at that point. You know
What he can offer.
or what he can offer.
You know.
Yeah. So what he can offer. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you know, you touched on a lot of things that I think would be valuable for people that are starting out and, you know, trying to map out the process for their career. One of them is the importance of, or how can I phrase this? Not being afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Because failure is part of the journey, guys. And I think it links to the point that you were making a bit earlier to say, you know, when you're at the beginning of your career and mapping out how it's going to look like, in your mind you have this idea it's all going to be smooth.
Yeah.
2 years here, 3 years here, study this, whatever.
Retirement here.
Retirement at 40.
Let's start dignified.
I was writing all these things I mapped out at the beginning, only to find, well, no, you know, when it gets to the 2-year mark, you haven't acquired the necessary lessons that you needed to get to the next level, right? And that's what failure is. Failure to me is learning. It's a hard lesson, a very painful lesson.
Humbling.
Learning the things that you need for the next level.
Yeah.
And how many people are actually in a position or who are in position of the next level information or the next level pack that are right next to you but will not actually offer it to you for whatever reason that there may be. And then you cracking your head in this space and you are far from next level or somebody hasn't actually set you down to actually, but your next level is actually here, and this is what it will take to actually get to your next level. You understand? Like I said, you need to know who to impress, how to impress them, because they then understand, okay, in this next level of this bar, I need a person that actually now has got a better relationship with landlord, somebody that knows how to negotiate landlord. In that person's space, you need to speak that language because that's what his next level. That's what, because like I said, so you are appealing to this company. The company becomes the department that you want to could actually go in. You want to go into operations. When you get in front of the operations head, you need to speak his language. And you need to understand, okay, these are the next level people. What language do you guys speak? What is most important to you? What is you? Because there is that one key objective of that particular department, or everything else can come, but when it comes to this, everything else stops until we fix this. You understand? The minute you understand those pillars, what's important to your next level, then you know what language to speak. It's all about perception. When you hire me in good faith that this guy would actually do what his CV says he has done, what he says he's able to do in my interview, and therefore I am taking a chance with him. And you do the same when you're in the space within those people. You speak the right language, you say the same thing, and then they get in themselves, okay, I can actually give this person a shot because they paint a picture of them being able to understand what is important to me, and they paint a picture of actually being able to actually execute in what I want, and therefore you give them a chance, and they think about you. Like you said, everybody wants to be They need to be on the tables of important boardrooms. Because if you're not there, then what else?
You stay there in your technical role forever, and you never get to move up the ladder.
You don't network.
You don't network, you don't initiate conversations, you don't go to the right meetings. Even though you are not part of that particular space, you're like, oh, I saw you guys
Visibility.
are going to do 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You guys need me to actually step in.
Putting your hand out.
Putting your hand up, there is a particular project that comes up.
Yes.
Be part of the project.
Yeah.
You understand?
So this actually has me thinking, right?
Yes.
For an introvert, for a person who doesn't go out and talk to people, start conversations with people, what do you think that does as a limitation, and can they make up for it with hard skills?
In the line that I am
In the line that you're in?
Definitely not. I definitely not. Because the minute you are an introvert, you don't say your mind. Your work can't speak to, because your work is about convincing people to actually buy into a particular concept. You understand? If you don't have that convincing skill, if you're not out there, if you're not that person that convinces, because remember, another thing, okay, let me just speak a bit about what I do. And so I've got you. You are entrusting me with your business.
Yeah.
So I'm the middleman between you and the brand.
Who do you? Just explain a bit.
So the franchisee. So he's the franchisee.
Okay.
He has the brand. He has me. So I'm your representation to the brand, and I'm the brand's representation to you.
Okay.
You understand? So I come to you. I need your buy-in. I need to convince you that if you run this,
Yeah.
chances are why don't you eventually get to this point?
Okay.
You understand? And sometimes, if you are not actually convincing him in that space,
You serve.
you serve. It's not a highly, and it's an analytical role, but not a high. Your work alone can't speak for themselves. You understand? You need to push a bit of our home behind it in order for you to do it.
Spark.
Yeah, you need to create that spark. You understand? And if you're not,
No, he's a very honest.
Because I see there are people who are going through very different. There's an increase in mental health awareness right now. You know, there are some people who don't speak not because they're not smart, but sometimes because they are anxious. They are afraid of making mistakes. You know, they are afraid of saying the wrong things. They're afraid of crowded rooms. Some grew up with trauma back home, where once you say the wrong thing in class or at home, you know, you'd be made to feel stupid. So when they come into the corporate space, here's a person who's afraid of raising their hand. Here's a person with this bright idea, but they can't speak that. Have you ever experienced that, or had people in your teams who were brilliant, but because of past traumas or personality, they could not speak out, and you realize too late? Hey, Mara Thomas knows what he's talking about. Thomas, what's up?
Go through.
I know. Look, you've got a lot of those.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of those. You think people that are afraid to talk, man, there's this lady, or what, so, I hope it never gets to So, she's good at what she does, but she's often not a man. She runs out of words. You understand? But you need to work with her for quite some time to actually understand what she does.
Yes.
And in us assisting, because our job also requires a lot of presentations.
Yes.
We're presenting to a group of franchisees, hyenas, that are ready to eat you because margins are not making sense. You understand? So and we had to take care with us to actually sort of push group presentation until she could get to a level where she's actually comfortable. But it's not a comfortable space, and you need to have that heart to actually. That's what would lead to a person having to leave at the end of the day. Because if you are in a very uncomfortable space in 6 days or 5 days of your life, and you feel as though, because remember, sometimes you feel as though your work is not recognized.
Yeah.
What else you are doing the most in your own conversation with yourself? You feel, Flip, I'm giving all my that analytical report, that analysis report that I actually secretly showed to Thabang and saying, these people are missing this point. This much interaction. And then Thabang goes, no guys, but you are missing a point. Yes. You're missing a point. I think this much is what I'm only going to mention you once. In that conversation, like Christopher said.
Yeah.
But if you guys carefully analyze this, this is, and then like, Thabang is right. It's no longer about this and having brought that to everybody's attention.
But thank you, Thabang.
Thanks, Thabang. I think this is the project we can run with. You might take it but I want someone in my team.
Yes. And then you do all the work and none of the recognition.
And then from there you sit, you've got a group of people, you've got this particular project, and you say, I want you to run our analytics. And then I want you to run our, and then from there you just putting the whole report together and you're saying, kudos to Thabang for leading the team towards executing this particular simply because it's a eat or get eaten world in corporate. Like I said, the chair is wide, there's 10 of us. I want you to actually be the one shining so that I can get it. And unfortunately, Umlung sees that and uses it against us. Pump you guys to actually give him 170% because you are all 10 of you are actually eyeing there. You understand?
That's important.
And the one thing that they wouldn't share with you is that then you start eating off each other. You understand? You start depriving each other of information that would make the circle shine more than you. You start actually withholding information. You start wanting to be the first to actually get information. You start to be wanting to be the first to actually liaise with other departments.
So how do you navigate an environment like that? You come in, the environment is very cutthroat. It's not within your nature. Do you just simply change and assimilate to the environment, or do you try and bring in yourself and then stay true to your own values that you came in?
You won't do the
your own values. At some point you're gonna have to have a conversation with yourself in terms of what is important to you. Is this job important to me?
Yes.
In such a way that I would need to diversify now and actually become what I am not in order for me to actually get this what I want?
Yeah.
Or you are going to be okay with there are people, let's not get it. There are people who are comfortable with not being promoted.
Yes. Absolutely.
They're happy with it. Then maybe you become one of those that are happy where they are and you're like, okay, I know. I'm fine. I'm okay here. So that's what I'm saying, or you have a conversation and if you realize with and I need the next level so that I can actually, you know what, I'm going to conform and I'm actually going to play the game that is being played here.
Play the game to change the game.
Play the game to change the game.
Yeah.
So clearly from what we've seen, moving from chef to regional franchisee manager.
Those are the play the game, isn't it?
Is this good? Because there are some people who run the race, they move up, but they get to the point where they're like, all right, I'm being right. So I just I don't want to assume that just because you are a runner, you still want to run. So I'm putting you on the spot here.
I still want to run.
You still want to
Hey, bro, I am running. Like nobody's business. Especially, I've given myself this year.
Yeah.
I'm done running the regional manager post. I need to run to another one. Because why am I going to go for? Do we work for mine? Am I going to rely on the annual increase? 7%, highest 11%. You understand?
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. Or what? So I need next level. I'm ready. And that's the language that I speak everywhere.
Yeah.
And you tell them, it's either I move vertically or horizontally.
Yeah. But then you move this year.
There will be a move. There must be a move.
It must be.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And people need to understand sometimes, né?
Yes.
So let's say you make up your mind that this is it. This is the company that I am going to be. I'm content with it in this company.
Yes.
I am going to work on my growth in this company.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
Or I want to be outside.
Yeah.
So I've made up my mind. I want my growth in this company.
Yeah.
So there is a 3-year plan
Yes.
where you know, okay, I'm going to move horizontally in order for me to acquire this, but this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the company long enough, I understand, okay, I need multiple department exposure.
Yes.
So you are surprised. You have a conversation with the next person. Oh, you know, I've been doing this thing for so long. I just want a different experience.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, sure, move over. Plus, your experience will actually help us here. Then they do. You might not get the chambura that you want at that particular moment, but you're working towards something. You understand? And more importantly is that it's what gives you a drive
Yes.
to actually wake up in the morning and go to.
Yes.
You understand? Because if I don't do it now, in 3 years time, I might actually still be where I am.
Yeah. No, so I think the theme of today's talk so far, what I've been able to get is that intentionality is important.
Yeah.
You know, from the mentorship, when you say you want a mentor, you must know what you want.
Yeah,
to
Right.
You must be intentional. First of all, you must be intentional about what you want. You must be intentional about pushing the relationship.
Yes.
The relationship must be pushed from the mentee side, not the mentor. The mentor can't come to you and say, hey, but chief, what do you need? You know, you're going to have to go to him and say, I need this. All right, I need this. You need to be intentional about who you are, your values, and how much of a role you want those to play in your work life. You need to be intentional about what your journey, what you want your journey to look like. So coming into a new role, you're already thinking, okay, I'm here now, but where am I going? How does this line up to where I want to ultimately reach? So you need to be intentional about all of that. And what you do on a daily basis must be in service of that intentionality.
Exactly. Now I hear you, because there are people who are like, you are lucky to be where you are right now.
True.
And
And when you like,
and luck is there, but it plays such a small role.
Yeah.
You know, it is intention that makes you seen. You know, it is intention that makes you seen. Maybe you might be lucky to be seen that day, or lucky to be seen by that person, but it's your hard work, your dedication, and your intention. Because usually it doesn't happen by accident. You know, and that's what people miss.
true, but before, I just want to just on the luck one. No, I think the luck plays a huge role.
You think it's a huge role?
Because you are lucky to be born where you were born.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
could have been born in, I don't know where.
Somewhere.
Where
You are lucky
don't
to
say
be born
places.
into the school.
Hey, the places.
I'm not saying any.
Yeah.
To be born where you were born, you know, you are lucky to have gone to the school that you were born.
Yeah.
You are lucky. You are lucky to be a healthy person.
Or are you going to places?
You understand? No, I mean, we all know Gauteng is the capital of a country. But you know, you are born in Gauteng, and that alone gives you proximity to things that people wouldn't have.
No, that's facts.
Right? You are lucky to have gone to
That school.
But
that school is not like that's cool. So to the viewers, we went to the same high school, just in different years. He's much older. He's much. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
So yeah. So the point I was making on that is that
it's not just luck. I'm with you.
yeah. So your positioning only puts you to a certain level, you know. But even if you're born in Gauteng, there are millions of other people in Gauteng trying to get to where you are.
I mean, being in the right space and understanding that particular space and capitalizing.
That he ran away this way. He left. Where were you?
Oh, we didn't have
You were intentional from the get.
It was intentional from the get-go. I want to be where the money is.
No, not necessarily. Sometimes your intention is to run away from your current situation. So that was me. It's like, I'm not comfortable in this current, I don't know where I'm running to, but I must run away from here. Not necessarily run away to, because I see, maybe I see light in there and I'm like, hey, it's too dark.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get to that light.
Yeah.
Because of it was not, you're not made to actually love school, man. First home. No, not now. Now kids are looking forward to go to school. But now school was punishment, you know. it was first of all, you've got a distance to walk.
Yeah.
2 liter, I mean, if you come home for you.
Yeah,
For you to actually make soup,
yeah.
To get soup, go school for you. And then you're like, then you come to Josie, and then they show you where the primary school, and you say, but it's close proximity.
Yeah.
Why should I go back there? Why? And I'm like,
I'm not going back.
I'm not going. And it works.
Yeah, now. I think just to take us back a little bit, they always say hindsight is 20/20. Only when you get to the next level and you look back, you're like, yeah, I should have foreseen, I could have foreseen, what I should have, could have done this and that. So let's help our viewers. What are the, what I should have, could have, that you would advise maybe from high school, tertiary, or maybe they started at tertiary? What are people at tertiary supposed to be doing to prepare themselves for the journey going forward? I know one of the things you sort of indirectly touched on is that you need to put yourself out there, right? You can't keep yourself in the corner and expect things to come to you. Right. You'll hear people all the time saying, I wish I put myself out there more university. University, I was just there focusing on the goals, but forgot about the soft skills element of it. So what are those 1 or 2 things at the different levels? So when you are a varsity student, don't just focus on your books, look at this. When you are an entry-level employee, don't just look at this, look at that. What are some of those things that people can be intentional about?
When you're at varsity, if you know where you want to go, get as much knowledge of it as possible. And if given the opportunity to actually be in those spaces, take it and be there. For me, I don't know how much the curriculum has changed now, but I found a lot of irrelevance in what we studied versus what we found when we got to actually work. And people need to understand that if you are wanting to go into the kitchen, you are in a relaxed kitchen. You understand, and you think you've got all the time in the world to actually decorate this plate and present it. Versus where you will be put in a kitchen where you need to actually make 150 plates and decorate. You understand? What is going to? So you sort of, I just wish varsity you could have actually been exposed more, a lot of more in service than the practical theories that you would find in class, than the set and classes that we found. And as you get into working with it, I just wish people would actually find themselves from the get. Like the confidence level to actually be, this humbleness, this tiptoeing around desks, when you see these people, no, I've been here for 4 years, I've been here for 5 years, that never gets done, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, you know who that person is, hey, don't make sure you've got that person. I just wish they would just that have been there in those spaces. Can you just make it a bit easier for the guys that are coming in and stop creating this marginalized importance that exists within what you do, that this person can't be able to do, that this person thinks it will take me 20 years for me to actually do what, and get to an understanding that these young ones, when they get into the role that you are in, they do it better. They might do it better because they've got better ways of looking at things, you understand? How do you then match with that to actually make, because you've got the experience, they are fresh from new theories on how the market is actually taking or changing.
Yeah.
So stop killing it before it actually emerges. That's what we're doing. So for the guys that are going in, I'm afraid to go out there and fight like a honey badger and fight. Be hard-skinned. Don't be apologetic. Be respectful. Be harmful. Be humble. But stand your ground on what you believe in, on what needs to, and understand your environment. Don't be irrelevant to the environment that you're in because there is a negative connotation associated with you if you find people who make it.
Why do you think they do that, Thabang? Is it a matter of the change would be uncomfortable to them, or is it bosatani? Because you will find that you just started work as a 20-year-old and your enemy is older than your mom. Like your worst enemy is like, oh, why is it give me, so what, what do they call it? Opps.
You're 15-year-old.
You're 15-year-old Opps.
Nothing else. There's no deep analysis in that.
I worked for this other company as I came up, as I was navigating.
Yes.
So in this company, I was the departmental head of a job that required manual labor. People needed at shops. People need to go clean the cold room. People needed. Like there was, I needed to be actually champion, highly unionized, and old people that have been there for ages. You understand? Old, and here you come there. Hey, I need you to go clean the seas. In fact, this is not fit, please. This time, it's almost my lunch time. You understand? Like, and then from there they sabotage you. You've got audits, they take things out. You understand? It's the same Bosata, while us who could actually, we would understand those as Bosata, but we wouldn't understand. Let's say, leaving Thabang struggling with a 007 report that would actually make this person's life so much easier than that. This always got access to the shared drive, all those reports that would make this guys that, like, search it, phone the store, phone them and find out what.
You have choices that you use there. What's a 007 report?
It's just the report.
The way this man works.
We've got 007 report.
Did he explicitly confess to being a spy? What is that?
Okay. Take us through what a typical, week or month or day, depending on how much variety there is in your job. Is a week sufficient for you to cover what you do throughout, or is it a month? How does it look like?
So typically, I'm on what you would term the ground level, captain, where I've got multiple departments. So I'm taking a yearly mandate from from particular department, and that's the brand compliance department. They will tell you their vision for the year in terms of what marketing campaigns they're going to push, what numbers they are aiming for, and what would actually get them there. Alright? Okay. That's my main mandate. Then my second mandate is going to be you, the
franchisee.
That wants profitability in their business. You understand? Then there's other things. There's going to be accounts, making sure you're paying us the royalties, making sure you pay your stock. Then there's going to be logistic, making sure you get your things in time, making sure all those. So I sit down and I put all this together. Here is this one. So I need to take your profitability in mind, the objective. So my month would typically be on the first week of the month. I see the guys that are relatively doing well, just to show face, just check how you're doing, and then you move towards the guys that really need your attention, the guy that is struggling with put plans together that he needs to execute, and then we're going to follow up on them later on. Then that's it. So I never have a typical day. And so my planning would go around, okay, this week I need to do this particular, and I need to see this. And remember, on top of that, you've got projects that are popping up where this guy now needs to actually revamp his store. You're now venturing into a product build now.
Yes.
You've got new sites that you've identified. You also have external people that actually approach you with different. So you also need to take that and channel it to the right person, actually keep following up on that. So my day is.
It's really, it changes a lot depending on what you need to do.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
No.
And I think as we close out the conversation, if you were not doing this, Regina, what would you be doing? You can think back to what you like, because I know you said you liked cooking from a young age, but someone will say, I would have been a soccer player.
And let's just correct it.
Yeah.
Now I actually question myself. Did I like cooking or was I just good at cooking?
That's important.
And because I was good at it, and then I was actually given the platform to be consistently and frequently do it.
Yes. I ended up in that direction. That's important.
I understand. I honestly, if we were to redo it, I don't think I would go into the food industry. I don't think I would go into retail at all.
Yeah.
You understand?
Cutthroat.
Yeah, I don't think I would. No, it's just too much headache.
I can imagine. Can I just touch on one of your headaches?
Yeah.
You interact with the franchisees on a regular basis. Our lights are on right now, but we're constantly anxious. And I can't imagine that you, in the retail space where people expect your lights to always be on, how you're dealing with this. As we speak, we're on stage 6 of Loadshedding. How does that affect your franchisees? We see how it affects small businesses. I know people who sell ice cream who are thinking of selling milkshake. You know, what does it do for your franchisees, and how well are they able to absorb that?
It's a serious headache to keep the lines on, because it's a territory that we're still trying to find ourselves in, and I'll paint different scenarios. The cost of actually staying closed, it's eating on you. The cost of staying open is also eating on you, and you don't know if you will actually recover in that sense, because depending on what time load shedding affects you, it hits you at your peak. And that peak is taken away by the people having planned that, okay, we know it's going to hit us at 6, let's rather go do this before that. So there's a lot of negative things, and somebody would be lying if they say they have mastered navigating through load shedding and whatnot. We just came out of COVID, where we had to actually navigate towards getting people towards normality, towards people prepping and planning. Because remember, because we were in load shedding for so long, people accustomed themselves to probably low numbers. You understand? And now you've got numbers that are booming, and then now you adjust your planning to booming, and now you've got load shedding, and now you understand, we constantly trying to find better ways of actually navigating this rough waters, but it's tough in the industry that we find ourselves in. It's very tough because we are considered the on your budget. We probably, after you've done what you think the most important things in the budget, then you think of us too.
I should forgot about COVID because their industry was, yeah, you guys were hit twice, and yeah, now we're coming back to this. Huh? So,
Yeah, and we've had a great conversation. There's still a lot that we can get into.
yo,
And I think we can have it back. We can have it back.
number one, we'll make him number 100.
So anything that's got one, I need to
You must be there.
You're like, I'm now the CEO, because I feel already.
Oh, that's exciting.
when I'm on the next header.
You're the next guy.
There's someone opening your water now.
Yeah.
Do we really want to get to? Then we come in, we criticize the pastors that are actually getting people to lie down and they open. The same thing in Kokoro, you want people to open your waters now. Now all of a sudden you can't make your own tea. Now you like wine, you sugars and
So it works, you make your own tea. Remember, they're watching. How should you leave it?
I buy.
What you buy? All right. No, thank you very much, Abutitawa, for great. Yeah, no, thank you for that first episode. And we touched on a lot. We actually touched on things that I didn't even think we would touch on. Yeah.
Especially the nature of
Oh, thank you guys for having me. It was great being here.
Yeah.
I wish to be back again. No, it's good. I also just feel I haven't told you half of what I want to. I should actually tell you. I think it's so broad. You don't even know where to touch. But thank you for having me.
It's a 14-year journey.
14-year journey, there's a lot to share there, you know.
Yeah.
We can an hour-long, 2-hour-long conversation.
Yeah, but there's one thing that I took, it's the importance of intentionality. Not it will happen to me. I will go and get it. I will go and do it, you know. And yeah. No, thank you, Abutitawa.
Thanks. Sure.
Man, I like this. So, I know.